Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my channel, Data Driven Decisions. In this video, we're going to talk about the 4 accretive steps to every BI tool. So with any BI tool that you work with, whether it be Power BI, Tableau, Looker, QlikSight, Domo, there's many others. They all have these 4 accretive steps. And what does accretive mean? It means one after the other. They're ordered steps. Um, data flows like water or like electricity from source to target, and all the work in data and analytics is accretive. Um, so number 1 is get data. Number 2 is wrangle data. Number 3, visualize data, and number 4, surface data. Um, so, with that said, I can talk about each one. With get data, it's all about connecting to the big data sources, all the big databases, whether it be the cloud databases such as BigQuery, Redshift, um, or it could be a lakehouse, it could be Teradata, it could be Oracle. There's so many databases, and the better the BI tool, the more sources it can connect to. You really want to be able to connect to at least the big players, and most of them, like, you go to Power BI. I can share my screen right now and show you. I'll do that. So with Power BI, for get data, you just click get data, and I mean, this is everything you can connect to. So you can connect to, here are all the databases. Uh, Fabric, everything in Azure. I mean, this is Microsoft. Um, so there's plenty of ways to connect your data, and you know, Power BI should have what you're looking for. It really does have all the big players, and as far as databases, you should be using one of the big boys. So rest assured, you can connect to it. Um, in Looker, there's such this thing called connections, and you create those, and that's how you connect to data. If I add a connection, uh, if I go down to dialect, it's here all they are. So here's the list of databases that you can connect to in Looker. So each each tool has a long list of databases, and I'm sure there's differences in that. There's a lot of politics with that. Like, this is Google, so uh, this is very GCP friendly as far as Looker is. It connects to anything inside GCP, but uh, it might not have everything that Microsoft has for Microsoft, and vice versa. Power BI is not going to have um, as much Google. So, um, that's number 1, get data. Number 2 is, wrangle data, and that's the semantic model inside of Power BI. And, for for Power BI, or for the BI tool, for Power BI, it starts with Power Query. Power Query is like an ETL tool. It's an ETL tool to transform data. Um, and this is how you source data. This is how you first connect to data. You usually, for new sources, you do it here. You can do it in Power BI, but Power Query is where the data starts in Power BI. This is uh, you know part 1 of the semantic layer of Power BI. Part 2 is DAX. Once the data, this Power Query runs in a script. So uh, it works like an ETL. It will take time to do its thing, to upload. But once it's uploaded, it's it none of that needs to be rederived. Now DAX and Power BI have the data in its Vertipack engine, and it's meant for BI, and it's screaming fast. It shrinks data so that it works more efficiently, because the smaller the data, the faster the process. So it's like a it's really awesome. And so you I think Power BI probably has the best semantic model. It has so much. You use Power Query to transform data. However, I believe in front loading processing. So if I go back to Power Query, there's two tables that I did work in Power Query, and these were directly from Excel, so I had to. But everything else is nothing. I'm neglecting Power Query. I'm not even using it. I'm not doing anything in it. Everything is already being front loaded in the database. I do everything in Power Query, or not Power Query, in BigQuery. So all these tables that come from BigQuery, which is pretty much everything now, because I move everything into BigQuery. As the goal of the BI is to move all your data into the same database, and then merge it all together into one data model in the database, and then just let the BI tool work with that data model and make it really easy on the BI tool. So yeah, Power Query, I know how to do it, and if you need to, you do it. If you're sourced straight from Excel or something, you have no choice. I understand, and it's a great tool. But what's better off is doing all that work in the database. It's called front loading all processing. If I go to it, this is the front loading. This is a script. It's 20,000 lines long, 22,000, and it just runs. It takes 10 minutes to run, and it does everything. All the logic needed for Power BI is already in this script, and it's represented in columns, in tables. Step two of the semantic model is creating the data model, and every BI tool has a data model layer, and I love Power BI's. It definitely has rules. Really, you want to work with star schema and one-to-many relationships. Avoid many-to-many. Stars and snowflake schemas are great. And there's all sorts of different data models. Like this one is like, it's got so many fact tables. It has fact tables in all these different shapes, and each shape does different things. And that really allows for awesome visuals. Something such as this, a matrix. You need columnar data to do that, and then this right here, you need wide data to do this. You couldn't do this in a very long table. So there's all sorts of shapes of the data, and it opens up the window for whatever visual I want. And all the fact tables are connected to the same dim table, most notably month table. So it all connects to each other. Cross filtering is still on, even though their data is coming from multiple fact tables, since it's getting connected by the same dim tables. Then they interact together, and it's beautiful. So step two of the semantic model is like creating your data model in Power BI, and then step three is, while you're dashboarding, creating measures. So if I like go down to cash flow, so all these calculators, those are all measure definitions, and you got to learn DAX to do that. So here's the equation for this measure that I created: average cash flow leading year. It's calculate. Anytime you got to use a filter, you just use calculate, and then you put the function. So sum of the main metric value, and then the months ago need to be less than -1 and greater than -12. So that's an awesome measure, and that's like the third part of the semantic model of Power BI, is learning DAX. So, Power BI is really stacked with a great accretive semantic model, starting with Power Query, then into the data modeling view, then into DAX measures. You can also go into this table view, and there's also a lot of awesome things you can do here, such as sort one column by another column. With every dimension, you always want to have its sort order represented in a different field, and then you sort the dimension attribute value by its numerical sort order, and that always allows, let me show you. So, tier name, its sort by column is tier number, which I'm sure I already put in. Like metric name. I mean, I already set these, but you see how tier number, tier name, metric number, metric name, that's all sort order, so that something like this, it comes out in the right order, or not alphabetically. It comes in a distinct order that I created, and that's what I want. And that's what I want with every attribute value. So every attribute really has its own sort order. So yeah, that's really the semantic model of Power BI. And then if we go into Looker, let me go into a project. Go into this is the semantic model of Looker. Everything's in database. You just connect to views. These are tables, direct connections of tables in a database, and they are just views. They're not tables. You're not sucking the data. You're pulling it directly from the database every time. 100% in database. That's what makes Looker different. You don't have the Vertipack engine like Looker has, or like Power BI has, or Tableau has that too. Most do. This doesn't. It forces you to always have to query the database. So be careful of your chain of logic. You don't want it to be too long. You certainly want to front load all processing, and you don't want to make the data crunching very, very strenuous. But this is a simple project, starts with view files. This right here is LookML. This is the semantic language of Looker. This is how you define tables, measures, dimensions. Um, most of this code gets pre-generated for you when you connect to a table, which is good. You don't have to write it all out from scratch, but you do have to just look at it step one field at a time and make small adjustments, such as like adding the value format to things, creating measures. So that's that. These are the three tables of this project, and then you create a model file. This is a model file, and this is where you build the data model. So what a data model is in Looker is called an explorer. And here's the definition of this explorer. You see it starts with the fact table, and then it just left joins the two dim tables to it. And that's that. So once you build the explorer, then you're able to um, be in the kitchen of Looker, which is the Explorer realm, where it's basically like a big pivot table to work with. So this is the Explorer realm. This is where you make tiles, dashboard tiles, and it's really cool. Power BI kind of works the same way. You just click um, the dimensions and measures you want, and then it just aggregates by all the unique combination of values of all attributes, and it sums or does the measures on that. So here we're looking at just employee name and employees. That really doesn't make sense. Let's put gender ID and get rid of this. So this really isn't the semantic model. You're already out of the semantic model here, but this is really the kitchen of Looker, where you build first the table, the underlying table of the visual, and then you start building the table, whether you want this in a bar chart or maybe a pie. And then, once you got your visual built, you save it either to a new dashboard or to an existing dashboard. At the end, this is a Looker dashboard. This is the Looker dashboard I built for that project that I just showed. It's thinking everything's in database, so every tile is its own query. Every tile is just one of these explorers or looks. They're called looks. So it's thinking, and dashboarding is pretty simple. You start with KPIs, filters. The more the merrier. You just do it for every dimension. When you just build your first dashboard for something, make it a simple exploratory dashboard. Do it for yourself, just so you can get to know the data, get to know the fields, what you're working with, and this is one of those dashboards. It's just a simple exploratory dashboard showing all the key KPIs: total employees, active employees, terminated employees, hired employees, total work hours, total work days, and then it just really shows those metrics by all the attribute values in the data, by department, by position, by manager name. So this is data sourced from Kaggle. Anyway, yeah, this is a simple exploratory dashboard in Looker. Go into Power BI. This is the front page, and here's all the dashboards I've built for my personal finance. They all just get Qlik. Here's the year in review, kind of looking at 2023, how I did improve my net worth by 15,000. Not bad for 2023. Here's my net worth by month. But, a dashboard is a dashboard. KPIs, the visuals you want to show. You always want to start it off with KPIs. Here's some more KPIs. KPIs usually for whatever your key metrics are, always build a KPI for them at the start. That's how you set the frame. And then if you have time, you love to see things by time. Here's an overview dashboard, and it has pages within it. And each page has its own KPIs. If you have time, always show things in line or bar charts to see things over time. That's always nice to see. But the dashboarding part is easy. It really is in a BI tool. It's the semantic model is hard because every language is proprietary, and some have some very cool, funky techniques that do some pretty cool things to data, and that's what makes them special. And it's hard to learn all that new stuff and all those new concepts. So get data, wrangle data, visualize data, surface data. Surface data is like publishing. So, when I publish this, I can see it on my phone, I can see it on my iPad, I can see it on my computer, and it's there's no editing. This is kind of for surfacing the data. I can email these reports to myself on a regular basis, which I have them given to me. They are getting emailed to me. Some BI tools have APIs where the data viz tool doesn't have to be the last shop in the accretive data and analytics project. It can be just another node that some other tool connects to. So Looker, everything in Looker is can be API'd. Like every query, every value in a tile, it can be just a node in a longer chain of a data and analytics project. So that's really cool. So anyway, yeah, surface data is just for like all the avenues of which the data can be brought to the clients and customers, all the ways of which they can see the data, whether you can embed it in a website. That's another really cool thing that you can do with these dashboards, both Power BI and Looker. You can embed it in dashboards and in websites, and that's really cool. So there's all different ways to surface the data. So I hope you like this video talking about the 4 accretive steps of any BI tool, and I showed it in both Looker and Power BI. Those are the 2 tools that I know really, really well. I know plenty of others really well, but in my current company, those are the 2 that I have at hand to work with. We don't have Tableau, so anyway, thanks for listening, and I hope this really helps if you're trying to become a business intelligence engineer. And if you're just an analyst and you work in BI tools, don't be afraid of new ones. Understand that if you have experience in one, then you have a very good leg up in learning new tools. Just understand the 4 accretive steps: get data, wrangle data, visualize data, surface data, and just work on each step at a time. First, connect to your data, then model your data, build your measures, and then dashboard, build your visuals, and then work on releasing it to your customers. So anyway, that's that. I hope you like this video. Have a good one. Bye.